This is Brian with Turpmechanic. Today I want to talk to you about Milky Spore as an option to control grubs in your lawn. I get this question a lot. I've been making videos for 5 years and I've never made a video directly about this, so it's high time. If you watched any of my videos in the past, you know that I almost always have some sort of product next to me so that I can demonstrate or at least show you what the product looks like. I don't have Milky Spore in my garage. My local stores don't carry it, and I have no desire to jump online and buy this stuff just so that I can show it to you. Milky Spore is a product that kills Japanese beetles. We're not talking all grubs. It's not going to do anything to prevent other grubs. So Japanese beetles are a type of grub. European chafers and a few others exist as well. But Japanese beetles tend to be found east of the Mississippi River and in the northern plains. Where I live, it's Southern California. We just don't have them. So there's no reason for me to own the product. But it is a viable solution for killing, or not killing, but preventing infestations of Japanese beetles or the grubs that will destroy your lawn. So grubs of all kinds are going to live underground for the vast majority of the year. While they're underground, they eat the root systems of organic plants. Grass is the one that we care about here on this channel. So if you have European chafers, which look completely different in the adult phase. So the adult phase, you're going to see that as the actual beetle as it runs and flies around your property. But that happens in the early parts of summer. Typically in June and July, those are the most likely times, maybe the end of May, those are the most likely times that you're going to see adult beetles. And the beetles of a chafer and the beetles of a Japanese beetle are going to look completely different. Chafers look kind of like this caramely brown color, and they really only come out at night. So you don't really see them much during the day or hardly at all. They also don't really cause a lot of damage to above ground foliage when they're adults, whereas Japanese beetles do. So if you have plants above ground, maybe a garden, many of those leaves are going to be stripped clean by a Japanese beetle, but not necessarily by a chafer. If you're seeing beetles flying around in the middle of the daytime, it's most likely a Japanese beetle and not a chafer. If you do have these Japanese beetles, then Milky Spore is a great option. However, killing them off or preventing them over the course of the next couple seasons or so is going to be a long game. It is very easy to put down some sort of chemical onto the lawn and kill everything off all at once. But people who are interested in Milky Spore don't want to put those chemicals in the lawn. I hate putting chemicals in my lawn. I do it from time to time, but I don't want to. If you want to go the Milky Spore route and you believe you actually have Japanese beetles, then you're going to be applying this stuff roughly 3 times every year for the next 2 years. And then from then on, you'll probably be applying this stuff once a year in perpetuity. Milky Spore it comes in this powder. So you kind of put it on the lawn. You can't just put it on the lawn with a lawn spreader. It's more complicated to put it onto the lawn compared to other lawn products. And when a Japanese beetle larva, so the actual grub that's underground, as it ingests this stuff, it kind of gets sick, it kind of gets poisoned, and it will die. So the spores will slowly kill the grub off. And after the grub dies, then it kind of decomposes into the ground, and then the spores are released back into the dirt so that more grubs can go ahead and ingest those spores and then die, and then it just keeps replicating. In the very beginning, only a few of the grubs will ingest the spores and die. But over time, more and more and more of the Milky Spore saturates the soil to the point where there's not enough grubs not getting the Milky Spore into their systems. And eventually you've got control. So you really only want to put this stuff down while grub larvae, so the grubs, those little like wormy-like things that are underground, when they are eating, that's when you put this stuff down. So that would be somewhere around April to early May. And then you'll also be putting it down somewhere around August. And then again, somewhere around the end of September or the first part of October. It doesn't make any sense to put this stuff down at the end of June or 1st of July because that's when the grubs are actually beetles. And the beetles are above ground eating above ground foliage. During the winter or the very end of fall, they have gone down as deep into the ground as they're going to be, and they're not eating at that point. They're basically hibernating. If you put down Milky Spore correctly in around, let's say, early April, and then again in mid-August, and then again around October 1st, and you do that for 2 consecutive years, at that point, you should start seeing significant grub control and Japanese beetle control. Now again, you might have a mixture of chafers and other kinds of June bugs and perhaps Japanese beetles. If you have a mixture of these things, then the Milky Spore is only going to work on the Japanese beetle. At that point, you're going to have to use other natural preventatives. The most obvious option here for me would be BT, or Bacillus thuringiensis. That's another soil bacterium that is toxic to grubs. I've used BT most in my lawn because BT is going to affect all kinds of grubs, not just Japanese beetles. It's a little bit more of an expensive product and it's a little bit harder to find, but it's definitely worth it. Beyond that, then you have to start going the chemical route, and the safest chemical route, in my opinion, is to use chlorantraniliprole. It's funny, a pest control guy just walked by. Chlorantraniliprole is used, and it's been popularized by the Scott's GrubEx brand. I do recommend using Scott's GrubEx if you are okay going the chemical route. If, however, you're going to put GrubEx down, or any product that uses chlorantraniliprole, then it has to be done at a very specific time of the year. That would be around the 1st of May. I have an entire video that I'm going to link to up here about when to use Scott's GrubEx and when not to. But if you do want to learn more about lawn care in general, how to take care of a lawn in the most natural way possible, then please watch the video that is also on your screen. My entire channel is all about keeping the best lawn possible, while also having a significant or a very strong lean towards the natural and the organic method of doing that.